Welcome to the Newtypes podcast. I am Lonecrit here with my co-hosts Kaiser and CBF. Kaiser, why are you a robot?
Okay, so what happened was I died, right? And I got better, clearly. I mean,
Would you say that?
Long story short, got into a car accident because, of course, I did, and basically got picked up and put my consciousness into a robot that is capable of having feelings, and now I'm a super fighting robot. God damn it! Its fucking speech functions is still warming up clearly.
So, would you say that with the assistance of others, you hid yourself while you repaired yourself?
Exactly.
Just like a true zero.
Okay, Mr. Human-sized Iron Giant, tell me this. Do you shoot bullets from your nipples like the sex bots from Austin Powers?
No.
Oh. Do you shoot sleeping gas from your nipples like the other sex bots from Austin Powers, though?
No.
Oh. Now that you have a robot body, does this mean you also have a robot penis?
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Okay, then.
But hypothetically, if it was, it would definitely be bigger.
I remind you that, as a Kamen Rider, my body is not the only bit of me that can henshin.
Aren't you a Heisei rider, though?
Well, funny you should say that. Actually, I gained my position as a Kamen Rider last year when the guy who was gonna be the second rider of the Reiwa era, instead of this saber twat, fell down the stairs and broke his neck, and I just kind of yoinked his equipment from the investigation. Do not at me. So, technically that makes me a Reiwa rider.
Okay, nerd. CBF, do you got anything to share with us?
Oh yeah. Before we start, and just to note, we are not a pack opening channel, but I bought a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So let's look at these. Let's start with the promo card for the Legendary Duelist Season 2. We got Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon.
Based.
It's shiny, it's a ritual.
Also,
It's
pair of
not as
anime
epic as
fans
the
opening
Mac.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards and talking about them in a manga cafe. This sounds so incredibly cliche.
Yes. Yes, it does. Especially because libraries also sell, bookshops also sell trading cards.
Okay, first off, this is a great way for freaking taxpayer money to go to putting weeb shit in our fucking libraries. And second of all, Lonecrit, you say this as if all three of us were the ones who picked this place to, to squat at.
You know what? I saved the owner from a monster. She owes me for life. This place is cool. We can get away with stuff. Do you have a problem?
Kidnapped input here, so I just decided to work.
Okay, but why couldn't you go through that much? Sorry, why couldn't you go through that much effort to get a girlfriend?
I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question. I don't.
Because
don't
he's not
understand.
me.
Error 404.
Oh, Shining Spirit Dragon!
Oh my
Spirit
fucking god!
Dragon, yeah! Yeah!
Oh
Dude.
shit! All right.
Come on, next
Also,
card.
Photon Dragon, the ultimate creature of destruction.
Oh! Fuck. Keep going.
Oh,
Imagine
damn,
saying that in
alright.
Kijitsuda's voice.
Ah, bullshit.
Like the true
I
Kaiba nerd.
hate that one. I
Keep
hate
going.
seeing that one. Like I play Dueling Nexus all the time. I hate seeing that card.
I have not played Yu-Gi-Oh in ages, but when I do, I play Blue Eyes White Supremacy and Fluffles.
Neat. Own Cyber Eternity Dragon. Okay. first box was better. The first
Oh,
pack was
fuck
better.
off.
There.
Cyber dragons
yeah.
are yeah, like you know, I see this great I just see this great divide with fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card archetypes. The blue eyes white dragons are of course white supremacists, and the cyber dragons are just Reddit, the scum of the earth. So
How
that, you know,
how horrible of you, how insidious of you to politicize this, Kaiser. Shame on you. You
What does
disgust
that make
me.
the red-eyed
And-
black dragons of the world?
Racial stereotyping?
Don't blame
I mean,
us.
listen,
Blame that
man, I think-
Brooklyn nerd Joey.
Yeah, it's his fucking fault that if Joey was black, we would have more support for black dragons.
He wouldn't be so subservient to Kaiba.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? I'm reading some real racist undertones from Yu-Gi-Oh! Now that you mention it. Now, I'm not saying
Let's
Yu-Gi-Oh!
go.
is racist, but this 40-minute explanation video that I made is. Coming soon.
PM.
Yes, and let's not forget, they keep giving support to cyber dragons even though they're already pretty busted. So that's confirmed that that Konami is catering to internet trolls, which makes sense because Metal Gear Solid is a thing. Thank you very
Really,
much.
from my
for coming to
perspective,
TED Talk.
From my perspective, they're catering to Reploid gearheads like you, but of course you'd throw shade elsewhere. Reploid,
So now
Robo,
we can.
Toaster.
So now we confirm Lone Crit's apparent racism. CBF, what have you watched recently?
Oh yeah, because who put this Rimuru plush on my desk? Who put this Rimuru thing on there?
Oh,
But-
actually, I did. I knew you were a fan of the show.
Oh,
You're welcome.
Slime is alright. I wouldn't say I'm that big a fan of it, but there's some hype moments.
It's
Season 1 in
cute.
particular had a lot of charm to it, especially because of the fun visuals and the actual surprisingly pretty good first arc, which got surprisingly
Mhm.
dark at points. But I do think the show kind of petered out after a while. It became kind of just like mid, like be alright-ish. Season 2 lost some of the production value and like vibrant animation, squash and stretch charm to it, and now they're trying to be more serious. It's taking a few obnoxious shortcuts, like with how it wants to present some of the bad guys, like the Otherworlders, and just how it won't stop just forcibly just explaining things that we're already seeing with like Milan and stuff.
Also, spoilers for season 2, if anyone cares, I guess.
I don't think anybody
Genocide.
cares.
Genocide,
Okay.
That's the spoiler.
Okay. Okay, CBF, now we know what your political leanings are. Zabi. Cough.
I'm the
Hey,
zombie.
hey.
I'm supporting the Earth Federation. Thank you very much. I am a Haro.
Have you never heard of a double agent?
All I gotta say is, Giran Zabi did nothing wrong.
Name a Haro that has ever been part of the zombies. That has ever been part of Xeon.
Kaiser, I can't even look at you right now.
Well, no,
Fucking
well,
Eddie's
of course
dumb
you're not.
Lone
Of course not. You're facing the screen.
I think you mean to say the camera, because we are recording in a manga cafe, where there is manga behind us, while music plays.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, what'd you think I meant?
I don't know. What did you mean, Zabi?
Okay, before
What I
political
meant-
tensions start rising again and we start throwing colonies at each other, let's get back to Slime 2 and how there were some surprisingly
Ever since
good
that-
cuts, even though there were also some god-awful fight scenes. Like, literally, some of the fights in, like, episode 10, where we got... I keep forgetting the old man's name, but him versus Ryuji just...
Akuro?
Yeah, Hyakuro, just that clean ass finisher. That was gold beheading.
That was incredible. I was actually waiting for how they would animate that shit because I read the ahead in the manga.
I feel like a
And like,
douchebag because I
oh,
read the manga, but I can't remember that bit.
Well, you are a douchebag, but
and you're
So
also
are
a white
you.
supremacist. So I think it fits.
Okay, Zabi. I mean,
Listen,
Buren.
listen, okay? True Contolism has never been tried, okay?
And when will it be tried? Before or after 50% of the population of all humankind is slaughtered?
Yes.
the funniest part is that applies to what the Earth Federation does later anyway. So
Hey, spoilers, douchebag, I haven't gotten to Zeta yet. Or even finished the original.
fair enough.
How are you
But
liking the
yeah.
original? I'll go. We'll save that. CBF, anything else you need to say about the slime isekois?
Oh yeah, just like also the genocide stuff was kind of neat. I especially liked when he gave the speech about how everyone's gonna die, and he's just like, Megiddo. He just flips his like arm all the way down, and we get like a tie-in, the katakana, I think, text, red text that just screams Megiddo, and then suddenly everyone's getting sniped by slime things. I do wish it was a little better animated to show just the sheer sense of panic and confusion, but it was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
we got a one episode ED by True for it that was sick as hell. So
Here's my
yeah.
question, though. Here's my
It's
question.
kind of okay. Yeah.
Here's my question, though. Is that actually good writing? Is that actually good storytelling? Or is it more so the novelty of the fact that we're getting that from an isekai from a quote-unquote wholesome protagonist at that?
Oh, it's absolutely the latter, because otherwise the show's still kind of
Okay.
mediocre. It's just that there are some fun
Hey,
hype
yeah.
moments from that come as a result of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Granted, in this case, in regards to Rimuru's decision to commit to this action, like, I think there are arguments for both why it could be kind of well written, but also some failings in some ways. Because, like, okay, why is he doing this? He's doing this in order to become a demon lord, and because basically that's a requirement of like becoming that is like having a shit ton of human souls, right?
Yeah.
And so once he does that, he can potentially go through a bunch of other bullshit in order to revive the people that were killed by the army,
Yeah,
who just so happens to be the amount of people he needs for it.
here's
And
my
we
question,
see
though.
him kind of like struggling with that whole thing. However, oh, go ahead.
Well, about the way it's presented, right? My question is,
Yeah.
if this is done so well, hypothetically, then why is it, that some of, at least my initial reaction when reading that manga is, wow, oh my god, hype, so cool, dude! Now, is that really the reaction I should be having to a hitherto relatively wholesome moral protagonist genociding, what was it, 20,000, 200,000 people?
20,000.
10,000. Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
the people on that side were
10,000 is the
dicks.
minimum, but 20,000 is how many are there, so that's how many he's going to kill.
And yeah, the people on that side are dicks, but as far as we know, I mean, would Gundam, the original series, be as good as it was if we weren't shown that some of the Zeon forces were actually, like, good, decent people that were just doing their jobs and were on the wrong side and didn't even have a full perspective on the point and purpose of that war?
Yeah, which kind of brings to me with which kind of brings us to a lot of like the issues that I have with this plot point. Which on Rimuru's side, it's understandable why he commits to this action. He was already, you can tell, like he was like kind of beside himself with this whole thing. But the issue is that one side is just presented as so evil, right? You know, like I wouldn't be surprised if one of the other worlders just like fucking plowed down a fucking dog, right?
And then threw it in a furnace.
Exactly.
Oh, what is this,
Cool.
JoJo now?
Yeah.
Is that a motherfucking
Oh.
JoJo's reference?
Everything?
We are
Everything is
cringe,
a
I'm
JoJo
sorry.
reference. Everything is a JoJo reference when we try hard enough. But CBF, go ahead.
And the other thing is that even if it was not for all of that, which lines up perfectly with what he plans to do, he just wants revenge. They kind of killed a lot of his people, including Big Titty Shion, who, yeah, that's enough of a
Mhm.
reason for him.
She's a hot tall chick in a
alone.
suit, enough said.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
reason alone for him to just be like, okay, I think I'm going to kill y'all.
But here's the thing, I'm
Also,
not
I
saying it should
love-
pull a full Gundam. I'm not saying it should pull a full Gundam, you know, war is bad and shit like that. But, at the very least, considering the type of character that Rimuru is, maybe present it more as a tragic character moment, a leader having to make the tough decisions for his people, and making large actions with large consequences, despite knowing the fact that a lot of innocent people are going to be taken up in that, rather than kind of a cool moment of vengeance with this kind of tragic pretense. That's more so the vibe I got from the manga.
I mean, to be fair, to a certain extent, they do exactly what you're talking about. Again, it's like they do go through the effort to show how this is kind of a tiny bit of a hard decision. Like Rimuru somewhat laments the fact that he's going to kill a bunch of people, but at the same time, they kind of shield him away from having to go through like anywhere near the full extent of that like baggage, because aside from the anger he feels, he also has like the fucking I guess like oh, because he's a slime, you know, like, oh, I don't feel emotions like I used to or something like that.
Alright. And just like on top of that, I think one thing that would have helped, well, two things that would have helped is to make some of the other worlders like slightly less cartoonishly evil, and also to make it so it wasn't unanimously supported a decision for him to just slaughter all of them. Maybe have like Yom or some others
Yeah.
have some level of hesitance about the fact that he's basically just gonna murder an entire army that he from a kingdom he hails from, even though they're kind
Yeah.
of creating a power vacuum to force him into it.
To this I have to say two things. Why not A, pull a Rising of the Shield Hero to some extent, and at least have the people on the human side be so-and-so, and then have them entertain later on the possibility that maybe what they're doing is not so bueno after all, and to a certain extent, they've been conditioned and made to adopt a tribalistic mentality. Because say what you will about Rising of the Shield Hero, but that was a cool idea. And also examine kind of the arrogance of humans into so gullibly believing these preset narratives from our world that are set before them, and not only accepting them, but reveling in them as if they're a good thing. One thing.
Yes,
Secondly, Kaiser, what you
Go
said, I latch onto the use of the word somewhat. Somewhat. That's what I mean when I say lip service. It's like, kinda, but not
Yeah.
really. Like original Kamen Rider, I'm kind of a monster now. I've kind of had my humanity robbed away from me, but I look cool and shit, and this is never an issue.
Yeah, but Lone Crit, in regards to the first thing you said, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing that you're kind of missing, all right? That kingdom, like, forbids the Monster Girl tab in their porn, so they kind of need to die.
You have changed my opinion. Meanwhile, fine gentlemen,
Today
it is
insane.
time. I did the thing. I did the thing. The thingy thing. The thing among things, at least from this past year.
Did a thing the thing though.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Why do you have a Viking hat?
Yo, he's got
Oh.
that.
So Kaiser can be a robot, but I can't have drone delivery? Okay, I see how it is.
Slaving
to be-
our people on fucking
Yeah, and to be
Amazon.
fair, this is like hardcore cultural appropriation right now. So
Well, I am a fleshy, and I do not give a shit about what you glorified toasters and ovens think. So,
Violent skeleton meatbag.
damn right, and proud of it. And one day, I will appropriate your people's culture, and I will have robot arms.
Okay, with that out of the way.
I got hats for you
Yeah.
too, by the way!
Oh, neat.
Enjoy.
sweet.
With that
Yeah.
said,
Oh.
I finally watched Vinland Saga, first 20 episodes.
Sweet.
Nice.
So what do you
Oh.
think of it?
It's really good. I wouldn't call it quite great. It may be
Mhm.
just like a step below for me, but it's really, really good. There was a little bit of a lull for me about halfway through the show when they're just kind of moving around Prince Canute, and I'm like, alright, I'm kind of bored now, know what's happening. Like, yeah, we're just walking beyond Thorkel. But then they do that shit with Prince Canute, and I'm like, okay, I like this dude now.
Yeah, can I just say, like, I've been reading Vinland Saga for a very long time. Like a year before I think it was announced because of like, oh, Giguk's one video about, hey, which manga should get an adaptation. And like pretty much every anime he said in that video has had an adaptation, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, like the beginning of Vinland Saga is pretty goddamn good.
But it's
like
not a
we
human
haven't
story,
even
though.
Oh yeah.
Also,
compared to My
spoilers
Hero-
for Vinland Saga, probably.
Not a human story.
Yeah, it's not a human story, unfortunately. It's a Viking story, which is better.
But it's not a human story like My Hero Academia. So its approach to storytelling and character writing is invalid.
Thanks a lot, Giga.
Yeah, thanks, Giguk. Clairvoyant dickhead. By the way, can I just go ahead and say Askeladd is the man?
Oh, yeah,
Askeladd is Askell Chad.
Askeladd is so fucking good. I love his dialogue.
I know this is
Like-
a drastic simplification, but he's kind of a Guts or a Casca or somebody like that trying to be a Griffith. He's a man that acts like a visionary leader who ultimately wants or has to be a follower. And his way from going from like one to the other, just in regards to like the tone switch in how he talks and his mentality, that shit is great. And now that I know about his backstory, it puts so much into perspective. From all the shit with Prince Canute, to some of the stuff with Thorfinn, to like right in the very beginning with Thor's.
Yeah, okay, so hypothetically, if I had a robo dick, it would be very, very hard right now. Hypothetically, but I'm not saying it is.
So hypothetically, due to that awful joke, I will disassemble you and sell your parts for coffee money.
At least our parts are worth something outside of the black market, Fleshy.
Hey.
Damn.
Hey. Do you know how much I could have gotten for my rider belt? My lone critter driver, as I like to call it.
That is not a human
girlfriend?
body part.
And also I would have gotten nothing, because apparently after I touched it, and after its previous host died, it latched onto my DNA, making it unusable. But...
Wow. So your mere existence made it depreciate in value exponentially.
I like to think that there is value in
If-
using its awesome power to save people, and plastering logos over myself for money.
Okay.
Even though you considered selling it for coffee.
Hey, you know what? No, I considered selling it for a suit, and another suit, and another suit, and a house. Thank you very much.
It's not worth enough for any of those things on its own. You
Our
just said it
virtuous-
earned $0.
I didn't know that at the time, okay?
fair.
Our virtuous writer, ladies and gentlemen.
You know
Anyways,
what? You
back
don't
to
have to
fucking
be
Vinland
virtuous.
Saga.
You don't have to be that virtuous to be a writer. You can be like Tendo Soji, or hell, fucking Kazuraba Kota from Gaim, who initially just wanted to feed his ego and make money. Like me.
Also like you.
Like me. Plasters logos on my body, because hey, if it worked in Tiger and Bunny, it can work here.
But yeah, back to Vinland. I'd
Back to
actually
Vinland.
say it's almost the reverse of what you said. He's like a leader who, at this point, just wants to retire from all that shit and have someone worth following. Like back when Thor's was there, he was just so good that he was able to talk to people and beat the shit out of two ships without killing anyone. He's just like, for a moment, he's just like, you know, maybe you should lead us. And then he eventually just turns around to his awestruck man and is like, relax, kidding. But for a moment, you can feel that he's like sold on him, and the only reason he's not sold even further is because he kind of has to kill him.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not even because of his strength, though, because later on, when he pledges to serve Canute is like a shit fighter. The reason he pledged to serve Thor's is more so because of what he got from his way of living, his mentality, his attitude, the way he talks, and the whole thing about not needing a sword or whatever that was, which just shows, you know, the fact that he knows when to fight, when not to fight, and why not to fight.
He knows when to hold him, knows when to fold him, knows when to walk away and when to run.
Yes.
Now, before I go sit in the corner for that joke, let me explain to you some of the things that I love about Askeladd in particular, and like Vinland in general.
Aside from
Like
his
I
goat
also
beard.
love, absolutely, but like aside from that, like I also really love the relationship. The relationship between him and Thorfinn. And granted, a lot of it is a bit less fleshed out in the anime from what I can remember. But overall, I'd say like the way it plays out is really, really goddamn good and kind of further facilitates Thorfinn's own like damaging single-mindedness in his goal to the point where he's just willing to like go through all this other bullshit and it's leaving him with practically nothing.
Yeah, it reminds me of the ending of Black Butler Book of Circus, as I believe we've discussed before. Just this person that's so committed to vengeance, not only because they have nothing else, rather than that they wanted that fucking much, but that they're willing to drag down and destroy the lives of countless other innocent people in order to do that.
Yeah, well, they haven't talked about this in the podcast though, but point aside, leave that aside. I also just, yeah, Thorfinn himself is also just a pretty compelling, tragic protagonist, really. Just the fact that he's so single-minded in his drive to get revenge honorably on Askeladd for basically cheating his father out of a win and killing him in that honorable duel. That, like in episode 6 is a perfect example where at some point he gets like beat up and like stranded and gets taken care of by someone who can't even speak the same language as him. But then once he effectively invites the Vikings in, everything starts burning, and you just see this horrible just look of betrayal on her face, like this heartbreak as she's like in tears, flabbergasted at what he just did, and only for him to disappear, and for him to just have this sheer sigh of resignation over what he's become and what his entire journey entails.
And he's going, and you know, not to spoil anything, but it's going to get better from there. I can fucking assure you that. There is a reason why he's in my favorites list.
Yeah, thank you. Please don't spoil me. Just by seeing pictures of what he looks like in the future, I've gotten kind of a little bit of an idea. But just what I love is the fact that Askeladd is turning Thorfinn into himself, to some extent. And this is a really bad thing, because like Askeladd used to be this kid who was given this kind of sense of purpose for life, and now he's following that, and after he got his like life destroyed and he devoted his whole life to like the stupid goal, and then he's doing exactly the same thing to Thorfinn.
Yeah.
Yeah. sort of that interesting dichotomy between the two of them.
Except
Yeah.
except Askeladd actually got successful on some level, where Thorfinn, he's been in this rut even longer.
Yeah, but
although
like,
it kind of sort of like benefited Askeladd more, at least in the short term, that he couldn't really facilitate that because hey, it's not really his problem. He's just here to get paid and get laid.
yeah. By the way, I really thought Askeladd was gonna die like about 3/4 in through the show, and I was like, no, Askeladd, no, please. And then I was like, oh god, oh god, oh god, thank you, God. By the way, I really like the whole thing. I really love the whole thing about love that ties everything together, that makes Canute mature later on and develop kind of this perspective that's akin to Thor's that I explained earlier on. I thought that was a really nice development. Like, I believe we talked about this before, how a lot of developments can feel very kind of rushed or in one go, especially like earlier on in the show with Thorfinn, and how maybe some of that shit would have been a little better off, like padded out or over a longer period of time. It feels like, it feels kind of like you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. But with Canute, I don't know, maybe I'm just like a dumb fleshy brain, but I thought that worked.
I think part of it's because they actually show that in real time with this conversation with the Christian guy, who eventually just decides that,
especially with
love is
his
discrimination. The only true love is death and nature.
Yeah. Granted, this isn't like the show telling you to fucking kill yourselves, but it's basically giving like Canute, I guess, the opportunity to like not only give him further conviction as to what he wants to do and how he wants to live his life, but also just him kind of resigning himself with like the world that he lives in, because hey, I'm in this environment where people are basically like killing and shitting all over each other, and if anything is going to change, we need to like abandon a lot of the things that we believe, including God if need be.
Yeah, just like, I'm sure we can go into it more after I'm done, but I think with that, it is time to move on to the next subject, because Kaiser, I really want to hear about this from you. Correct me if I'm wrong, you recently finished Maison Ikkoku by Rumiko Takahashi, is this correct?
That is very much correct. Although I haven't seen the final movie yet, I have seen the main TV series.
How dare you correct me?
Well, I'm sorry that somebody here wants to be politically correct, Lone Crit. We have to gain subscribers somehow.
Cameos? Clickbait?
Oh, we can. Clickbait sucks. We
well-
can do cameos and guests soon.
Yeah, clickbait is for they're for the low level. They're just for the low level trash. But speaking of low level trash, Rumiko Takahashi. I'm joking. But like,
For a sec, I really thought you were gonna go there.
I mean, to be fair, like, here's the thing. Granted, up to this point, what was it? Maison Ikkoku is the only one of Rumiko Takahashi's works that I've seen all the way through, because I cannot stand, at least at the time that I watched Inuyasha and Rama 1/2, I cannot stand her style of storytelling or comedy. Most of the time, it's just very cringy to me. If I rewatch those shows, I might think differently. But Maison Ikkoku,
Maybe you should do
is
your
often
laundry somewhere else then.
what'd you say?
Maybe you should do your laundry somewhere else then.
He's a robot. He doesn't have laundry anymore.
No,
At least he has
just,
no need for them.
cause Inuyasha?
Kill yourself.
Yes,
Jump
please.
off a bridge once you're done with your ship.
I can try, but I'm pretty sure I'll just get revived as a different Kamen Rider if I do. Frankly, do either of you want me to get a power-up?
I mean, you say that as if we can. I'm a fucking Mega Man, dude. Do you know how far we can go?
Do you know how
Lucky
far
you
Kamen
two.
Riders can go? I'll have you know my predecessor, Kazuraba Kota, Kamen Rider Gaim, literally became a god.
Lucky you two, you get power-ups. I'm just a haddle. I get revised models.
I mean, sure, with that attitude, but here's the thing. But like moving back to Maison Ikkoku before we have a dick measuring contest that I would win. Maison Ikkoku though, despite it being Rumiko's works, now I don't know because I've heard that it's probably one of the better ones of her works, or at least the most down to earth. And in that respect, that is definitely true. And I think overall the show is pretty good. But I do have some problems with it. But to give you a bit of the synopsis, if you guys aren't aware, are you guys aware of what?
All
Yeah.
I
Okay,
know
so
is
what's
that romance, divorce, or widow woman, and kinda dickish lead man.
Basically, so it's about
Also,
this
he's
guy.
21. That happened so fast.
Yeah.
Imagine
So-
being like married and widowed at 21. That's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Would you
Dude,
rather be married and widowed at 19?
I'd have questions for you if you were.
And you don't have questions at 21?
I'd have less questions because that would imply you're not at high school when this is happening.
True.
That's why I said 19.
But okay, look, let's move
on with
on
the show.
though, because so the story is about this guy named Yusaku Godai, who just got out of high school and is trying and pretty much failing to get, at least in the beginning of the stories, he was like failing to get into university.
Time out.
And
Kaiser. What's his name?
Yusaku Godai, and I know you are getting a big fucking common chub right now.
I mean, I'm definitely not
brains.
thinking. I'm definitely not thinking about a certain man of 2,000 talents. No siree. Not at all. Sure engine.
Whatever. Anyways, but yeah, Yusaku moves into this board house apartment complex. And like it's a bunch, and there, it has like 3 tenants there aside from the manager, who is the main love interest. The manager's name is Kyoko Tanashi, and she's like 21. No, not 21. She's like almost 26, and like lost her husband prior to the story.
I thought it was 21. Did Mel lie to me?
I think she did lose.
Lying? No.
I think. Yeah, no, that's completely out of character, completely hypothetical. But, freaking, what was it? I think she may have lost her husband at 21, but the story begins when she's at least like 24, 25.
Okay.
But yeah, she is the main love interest, and Godai is kind of like a bumbling but sometimes well-meaning asshole and stuff like that. And here's the thing, though. As much as I'm usually annoyed by Rumiko's shit, after a certain point in the story, I kind of ride with Godai a lot of the fucking time.
So what you're
Surprising.
saying is that you're a masochist.
Oh, you saying that like that's a surprise? I don't understand.
You like being tied up and having electric clamps attached to your nipples, Kaiser? Be honest.
I will neither confirm nor deny that. But
Okay,
what I can
roboticist.
confirm is that Yusaku is definitely a pretty compelling character. Like, granted, the first 4 episodes did not do the show any fucking favors. The jokes were bad. Yeah, the jokes were pretty bad. They weren't all that well timed. But surprisingly, the animation is really good throughout the show, especially in the latter parts. Keep in mind, this was made like by Studio Dean back in the day.
Well, to
I
be
feel
fair,
a
it is
certain-
80s anime, so that's a plus.
I feel a
Yeah.
certain flower lady is gonna be very pissed at you for some of these complaints.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, but the first 4 episodes didn't do the show any favor. After that, sometimes it's annoying, but up to like episode like 35 is where things get really fucking fun. And here's the thing with Yusaku and a lot of the other, with Kyoko's relationship, there's like actual progression. Like you'd think it'd be like, it's pretty episodic, but it's actually like progression from each point in the story. We see Yusaku as he like, hey, finally gets into college, actually gets some friends, trying to get his life together, and life just kind of kicking him in the balls. Sometimes because
So
of
what
what he
you're
did,
saying-
sometimes not.
So what you're saying is that Rumiko Takahashi is not Ken Akamatsu, and there is a concept of linear time.
Correct.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and by the way, some of the other characters are pretty fucking funny too, like the 3 tenants, most notably, one of the tenants named Yotsuya, who every time that he is on screen, I am immediately reminded of Locrit. He is just
In a
like
good or bad way.
Yeah,
Yes.
in a good or bad way.
because all right, let me paint a picture for you guys, all right? He is this very auspicious and weird dude who always wears a suit, who hangs around in the apartment all the time, who speaks constantly in like this flowery language in order to muddle his way out of conversations or trouble. And he often, at least, well, unlike Wilfred, but he like also like bribes people for food and shit.
But does he lift though?
I don't know, because here's the thing: no one knows if he has a job.
Nothing like me then. If he does not lift, he is nothing like me. Your comparison is stupid, good sir, and I will not stand for it. Luckily, I am
You are
sitting.
sitting.
Yes. You are correct, Harrow.
You know, the weird thing
boy.
is, that's probably exactly what Yotsuya would say.
Get fucked, nerd.
You have no evidence for that. This is fake news. This is fabricated reality. This is alternate facts. This is bullshit. This is cockamamie. This is malarkey. You, good sir, are a cretin.
Okay, Yotsuya. Anyways, but yeah, like him and 2 of the other tenants were pretty funny for like the first 30 to 40 episodes. After
like myself.
ironically, no comment. After a certain point, though, there's like a certain point in the show where, like, yeah, as like both Godai and Kyoko kind of developed, the comedy in regard, the overall comedy, at least in regards to like the 3 main tenants, kind of got worse, because I think we all, even if we're not fully like acclimated to it, I think we're all 3 of us are kind of used to Rumiko Takahashi's shtick, which is
Not me, I haven't actually
hashtag-
seen any of her work.
I've
or
seen
read
like
her
40
stuff.
episodes of Inuyasha.
Okay, so you know, like her like
Yes.
overusage of hashtag misunderstandings to produce conflict.
Shabes will be very pissed at you.
Yes,
Yes.
This watch
This
is
is why-
not good because of you.
Hey, Shabes.
and this is what. Hi, Shapes. Thanks for a review.
We're very
Hey,
grateful.
Shane, I will make you remember my name. Coldly Spade, you heard it here first.
Okay, Harrow.
But yeah, like
I have one
here's
question.
the thing.
I have one
Go ahead.
question. Does Godai go around giving people thumbs ups and teaching them life lessons?
Well, he does one of those things in the latter parts of the show. But he doesn't do
Nice.
the
Ba-
thumbs
ba-
up.
ba-
Ba 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 ba. 今アクセルを解き放ってパパンパパン空が
Oh no, it's a boomer Kamen Rider theme.
No! Oh my god.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
hear
best
that.
rider, do
In
not
spite of
at
all
me.
that, this is actually like one of her best work.
Yeah, this
Also,
sounds
the
like a really
main
good
villain,
show.
absolute mute.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
gripes aside, Ikkoku is a pretty decent show. I think I'll give it like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10.
Coming from an
But
elitist robot with an objective opinion like you, because robots cannot be subjective, this sounds like a good recommendation.
yes, but you need to commit. If this kind of story isn't your speed, then like you're going to get turned off by it real fucking quick. And I'm letting you know this right now, her comedy isn't exactly, super consistently good, at least not in my opinion. But the good, very, very, very good moments of character, at least in regards to Godai in particular, is still, I think, are still worth keeping up with.
Okay. With that being
Now, he's
said,
not,
I do
and
think it is
and,
time to wrap up.
although, I just gotta mention, this is a show about a guy trying to get with a MILF, so pretty base show right there. Ruriko ain't too bad.
A MILF who is not much older than us, so hey.
A standard to live by then. Gotcha. With that said,
We
time
are
to conclude.
pulling Shinkai's fetish of being with a girl that's slightly older than you. If you've seen
Slightly.
the Weathering with You movie, you know what I mean.
Nope. See you
I
next
did.
next time on the See you next time on the Newtypes podcast. Bleh.